Have you ever just looked around and felt like our world is this chaotic mix of people, ideas, and cultures all just bumping into each other? Well, what if I told you there's a powerful framework that helps make sense of it all? Today, we're diving into the work of anthropologist Arjun Appadurai, and trust me, it's going to give you a whole new way of seeing how our interconnected world really works. So let's jump right in with a pretty fun puzzle. The writer Pico Iyer was traveling in Asia and he noticed something odd. In the Philippines, he kept finding these local bands that were flawless, almost uncanny mimics of American pop music from decades ago. He actually called it nostalgia without memory. I mean, how does that even happen?
And this little mystery, it opens up a huge question about globalization. Is the world just becoming one big American-style strip mall? You know, the same brands, the same music, the same everything. Or is there something way more complex and frankly way more interesting going on? Because as we're about to see, the usual answers just don't really cut it.
To really get to the bottom of this, we have to move past the simple ways we usually talk about global culture. The old way of thinking, it's pretty much broken. You know, the debate usually gets stuck between two big ideas. On one side, you have this idea of homogenization, that everything's becoming the same, people call it Americanization. Then on the other side, you have heterogenization, the idea that local cultures are tough, and they'll always resist and put their own spin on outside stuff. But this is where Appadurai steps in and says, hang on, just calling it Americanization, well, he says it's a pallid term. It's weak. It doesn't explain that time lag with the music or why the copy is so perfect. And it totally ignores a huge fact. For a lot of people around the world, the big cultural wave they're worried about isn't coming from America. It's coming from India or Japan or some other regional powerhouse. And this is where his big idea really changes the game. He says we need a whole new framework. We have to stop thinking of globalization as this one single thing. Instead, he wants us to see it as 5 parallel, overlapping, and, this is the key part, often clashing global flows. He gives them a cool name, scapes. First up, we've got ethnoscapes. This is exactly what it sounds like, the landscape of people on the move. We're talking tourists, immigrants, refugees, guest workers. This constant movement of human beings across borders is, without a doubt, a massive force shaping our world. Next, you have technoscapes. This is the flow of technology. And it's not just about iPhones and Silicon Valley. It's about everything from massive factory machinery to simple farming tools, all moving across the planet at incredible speeds, linking places that used to be totally separate. Third, the financescapes. This is all about the flow of money. We're talking about global capital, currency markets, stock exchanges, just unbelievable sums of money zipping across the planet in the blink of an eye. You might not see it, but its effects are incredibly real. Now this one is huge. Mediascapes. This is the flow of information and images through movies, TV shows, and now, obviously, the internet. These mediascapes give us this enormous library of stories and characters that we use to imagine our own lives, and the lives of people we'll never even meet. And finally, there are ideoscapes. This is the flow of political ideas. Think about big, powerful words like freedom, rights, and democracy. As these ideas travel around the world, they don't stay the same. They get picked apart, reassembled, and they take on totally new meanings in different places. So, okay, we've got these 5 scapes: people, tech, money, media, and ideas. But here's the thing. Just making a list isn't the big idea. The real aha moment, the key to the whole thing, is understanding how they interact, or more importantly, how they fail to line up in any neat, predictable way. And the single most important word to get this whole framework, the one word you need to remember, is disjuncture. So what does disjuncture actually mean? It's really simple. It just means those 5 flows we talked about, people, tech, money, media, and ideas, are all out of sync. They're not moving together. Think about it. A country might be desperate for foreign technology, but slam the door on foreign workers. Media images of incredible wealth might flood a place where capital and jobs just can't follow. This constant friction, this mismatch, that's what creates the chaotic and unpredictable world we live in. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory for a university classroom. This disjuncture has created a completely new condition for modern life, and it affects billions of people all over the planet. Appadurai gives this condition a name. It's a bit of a mouthful. Deterritorialization. I know, it sounds complicated, but the core idea is actually something we can all understand.
So, deterritorialization is basically what happens when groups of people are no longer tied to their original homelands. They might physically move to another country, but they stay deeply connected to home through money transfers and, of course, through media. And this creates entirely new kinds of communities, and sometimes brand new kinds of conflicts. This example just illustrates it perfectly. Imagine a software engineer from India who moves to Silicon Valley. That's the ethnoscape, right? People moving. She sends money back home to her family. That's the financescape in action. But meanwhile, her family back home is watching movies and TV shows that create this fantastic, totally one-sided image of her life abroad. That's the mediascape. And the tension between her real, everyday life and this imagined identity, that is a direct result of the disjuncture between these scapes.
Okay, so now that we're armed with this powerful new way of seeing things, let's circle all the way back and finally solve that puzzle we started with. Remember those Filipino singers? They're not just copying America. Not at all. They are a classic textbook case of disjuncture. You have a mediascape, this flow of American pop songs from the 70s, that's crashing right into an ethnoscape shaped by a long and really complicated colonial history. The music is completely detached from its original time and place. And that's what creates this strange, hyperreal performance of a past that was never even theirs to begin with. And this all leads us to Appadurai's really profound conclusion. Globalization isn't some simple tug-of-war between becoming the same or staying different. It's actually a messy, chaotic struggle where the forces of sameness and difference, as he puts it, cannibalize one another. They literally feed on each other, twisting each other into new and totally unpredictable forms. So now you have the framework, you've got the 5 scapes, and you understand disjuncture. And I guarantee you're going to start seeing them everywhere. In the news, in your own city, maybe even in your own family's story. So the question we want to leave you with is this. As you look at the world around you, which scapes are clashing and combining to create the reality that you see?